December 20th, and we are on the Chessex dice calendar. The last 5 hatches, well, the last 4, but you know. Here it is, and it's on the same side as number 24, so this will be the last page or side of the cube that we finish on. Okay, let's get this going and get in there. See what we are getting for this. Ooh, a D20 in what appears to be partially the same-ish colors as the one we already gotten down here. Just keep that in. All right, you can come out now. Oh, I'm really not. The problem with the D20 here is that it is the closest to a sphere that a regular set of TTRPG die is. Okay, let's take a look at it. So black opaque, blue lettering, that's a good start. White splodges, pink splodges. So it actually is a lot better than the other one, and that is largely due to the fact that white and pink do not mix as well as white and green, at least not here, or perhaps the fact that they've just used a lot less color. That makes this one a lot easier to read, which is a thing that I complained about in this one, despite them having the same style of lettering and the same style of coloration. This one is easier to read because there is less splashes of color. It is more simple and more, like, there probably are some darker colors. You can see it like here when it focuses that are in there, but they don't disturb the lettering nearly as much as they do on the other one. This one is definitely better. It's not great because the mix of color and choice, particularly the choice of the color or lettering, is what makes a die easy to read. Now, it is hard to make this one better because if you go up in contrast, so go up to a more bright color, it usually falls in with the background because the die is already dark. If you go more dark in color, so for example a more navy blue than this ultra blue, you would get a die which is harder to read because you'd get into a sort of almost like a dark blue on black. I do believe I actually have in my dice, my D20 bag over here, an example of how, yes, I do seem to remember that. This, so you can see here is just opaque black with almost the same, but not entirely the same style of blue. This one is a lot clearer. Like, it's a little bit darker, making the blue stand out more, rather than this ultra sort of almost baby blue kind of blue, which isn't always great for legibility. This is how you should do it. These two, especially that one, is how you should not do it. Arguably, this one would have been harder to read had there been splotches of almost any color on it. Like if you go black and red, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Black and yellow, also not so bad. Black and green, then we start to move over to the closer to blue kind of thing. It's basic color theory, like red, green, blue. And at least in terms of blending things, so when you're sort of mixing up colors, green and blue tends to be sort of moving towards the same spectrum, unless you have a very yellowy green. This works These, not so much. But still, it was just to prove a point, this. Oh dear. There's a few D20 that fell out as I just put the bag aside without closing it. It's a good note to always close your dice bags before you put them away. Now, they fell into a chair, so it's not a big problem. Anyway, this die should of course go into the dice tower, as all dice should, if they can. I'm talking to you, mega chunky boys. Here we go. That is a... Ooh. So that's the thing. When you're making... Now you have these 6 and 9 right close next to each other. That's not a great idea. Especially not when you're making the marker for what is the bottom of the number this small. Doing a dash is better than a dot, definitely, there's no doubt about it. But you have a lot of space, like you could make it twice as big. And it would be much, much easier to read, rather than this tiny, tiny dash that basically could look like it was part of the background decoration. But that's obviously because when they make the lettering, each letter has a maximum width that is required in order to make them fit on a side of a die. Especially the D20, as it has the smaller area of sides compared to any other die. But this, I mean, don't do this. This is barely, like, you actually have to pick it up and look at it and be like, did I roll a 9 or a 6? That's not great. But I will see you tomorrow for the final hatches. Well, starting on them at least. So until then, take care.